Welcome to The Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on The Weekly, more Tales of the Trade War with Pirate Borg.
Oh, okay.
Citizen Sleeper Spindlejack, something that you might like. GameFound's RPG Party. Yeah. Okay. And I think something that probably everyone has seen now because they have just blitzed advertising on social media. Liquid Steel. Yep. The Milsonian, the Troika setting, and English print of a graphic novel. So let's start. So this was really charming, and it shows how far this trade talk for tabletop and stuff has gotten down to like the normie mainstream. This is like Denver local news, Fox 31, wow, and so off of their website they did, and the website's great because I'll even read the little headlines that pop up between the paragraphs. They're hysterical. So the Denver News spoke with a local Denver man, a local boy made good, as you might say, Luke Stratton, who was a concert lighting designer for bands like Smashing Pumpkins until the pandemic, and he found his new passion, right, tabletop, and dropped his job and put all of his time into making his own. So a quote from Stratton: "You pretend to be somewhere and be somebody that you aren't in real life." So he's going to talk very layman, simple, like normie to this reporter. So he first started playing, running games in the basement of a Denver game store called the Wizard's Chest as a monthly game meetup. It's like and there's a lot of likes in what he says. It's like adventure, excitement. I just made the thing that I wanted to exist, referring to when making Pirate Borg. There wasn't a good pirate role-playing game, and I made it. So Pirate Borg, of course, is the Mork Borg kind of...
the one where they just kind of ran out of punny Borg.
Right, yes, right. And Stratton would describe it as Pirates of the Caribbean meets Army of Darkness. So they had a very successful Kickstarter, and they even found a publisher. I think, was it Modifius or Free League? Somebody, one of those guys is distributing them. And so they're ready to begin their larger rollout, but then Tariff.
So it hasn't actually been, like, they're in the fulfillment stages. I was kind of under the impression that Pirate Borg had been fulfilled and was done. Yeah, no,
the Pirate Borg is out. Okay. And I think it's hit retail, but they're like ready to, as I think that, I think we talked about they're working on another setting, like, or another adventure, like there's more stuff, there's more content.
Borg? Privateer Borg.
No, just like a Skull Blood Island kind of thing. But and they want to produce things, dice and accessories and stuff, but that cost is now substantially increased. So all of our gaming components, like specifically dice and coins, they pretty much have to be manufactured in China. On the worst day when I was looking at it, I was looking at a $125,000 bill, and that is over the initial estimate of about $50,000. There's not an option to just cancel the order and print it here, says Stratton. So those things are already that we've already approved. Production prototypes. There's no recourse for us. It just goes directly to hurting me and my 2 employees. And Denver's best Mexican restaurant to try on Cinco de Mayo, according to Yelp.
I can't tell you the last time I've actually watched local. No, I watch local news almost nightly, but it's Japanese local news. But I can't.
Right.
Anyway, okay, yeah.
Oh, and another headline: 3 Denver Metro grocery stores ranked among the worst in the nation. That's a good headline. Anyhow, so we love playing it. We love making it, Stratton says, and we're going to keep doing it. It's just definitely dark shores at the moment. I think it's a Pirates of the Caribbean reference. So he still hosts the meetup every month at Wizard's Chest, and we'll continue. They'll just kind of wait and see. Everybody doesn't know if this is happening, how it's happening, until they get that bill, until the container arrives in the port and they're like, here you go. You want your stuff?
Oh, here you don't go. It's here. Pay us.
Right. Yes. So just a little bit of an update. There hasn't been any updates or news posted about the lawsuit or anything, but this was just interesting that it's gotten down to this level of local Denver news is talking to the creator of Pirate Borg. So interesting. And this is tangentially related. It's related to the current American administration, but not directly to tariffs. But Rowan, Rook, and Decard, the team will not come to Gen Con this year. So they have told the UK publisher has said they will not be traveling to Gen Con. Crossing the border into the US simply isn't safe for us at the moment, and it doesn't appear to be getting safer. So we aren't the first to make this decision. We suspect that we won't be the last either. The political climate is only getting worse. While the odds of most of us encountering resistance at the border control are low, we don't want to risk running running the biggest convention of the year without members of the staff that we need because they've been detained, deported, or otherwise penalized for their beliefs or who they are. So no fun. But so it's like, well, that sucks. But that Yankee dollar, you can't, it's irresistible. So they're not coming, but they are coming. So they're going to be, their booth is going to be operated by U.S. representatives. And so they're just going to be paying an American, local staff. So they're not going to have their UK staff. There won't be any events, signings, panels, or B2B meetings. So they're going to miss out on that business, but they are going to sell stuff. So wait. They're paying that staff. That staff is paying taxes. Anything they sell, you have to report, and they're paying sales tax on that at the convention. They're still funding ICE. They're still funding, the military-industrial complex. You're not getting away from anything. You're just, it's kind of reminded me of like one of the comics creators, one of the big comic book artists said about leaving Twitter, I can't abandon my customer base. They're here. And politically, I don't agree. I would prefer not to be on this, but I'm not going to hurt my business doing that. They're kind of making that same decision. It's like, we're going to, hurt our business for political reasons, but, we're going to still try to, be there as much as possible. So it's a little bit, them talking about this as a little bit of a virtue signal because they're still there. It's just that they're physically, they don't have a horrible plane ride in a shitty Indianapolis hotel room, but they are still going to do this.
Them, like deported or
yeah.
Okay, and as I said, okay, I'm going to the States later this summer, and I'm just going to I'm a U.S. citizen, and I'm just like, okay, the chances of anything happening are probably nothing, but still, it's still in the back of my head. But I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I would say virtue signaling, but like that Twitter analogy, which I thought was decent. As a business, you have to make a decision. And I'm not going to tell you what decision to make. The only thing I can really say is whatever decision you make, you got to be okay with, or you got to commit to. If you got to be like, okay, you know what? I've crunched the numbers, or I've run the numbers, and my best guess, I'm taking this much hit by leaving Twitter. So I just feasibly cannot do it. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
right? If you're able to live with that, okay.
Yeah, there's interesting. This is not related. I won't go into it. Maybe talk about it next week. But Dungeon Crawl Classics just made a Goodman Games just made a weird choice.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So they took a stand, and then they, presidents change, administrations change. It's like, okay. So yeah, this is it's interesting. Like when it comes to business and politics, some people it makes interesting decisions. But the article that talked about this also noted that Ryan Estrada and Kim Hook-suk also canceled their month-long tour of the U.S. Promoting their comics, both Eisner Award comic book creators, because of dealing with immigration and not wanting to deal with any bullshit. Yeah. So we will see. We'll see how that goes, and we'll see how the conventions are actually affected by this, because there are a lot of international creators.
Well, okay. Not tangent, but I've often talked on social media about we're never going to get away from D&D being 8,000-pound gorilla in the room, unless people who are third-party creators who are financially able or willing to take the hit start making third-party stuff at kind of scale, for other games, right? Yeah. And someone has to take that first jump. Someone has to do it first, and I can be mad, but I can't blame all of the little third-party people who go, you know what? Can't afford to not make D&D stuff.
Yeah, right.
They're not financially stable enough to go, I'll tank any income I have. Sometimes maybe my sole income, not even getting into disability or minority and things like that. They can't take the financial risk, and so I can't fault you for not taking that risk, right? What I can do is fault the big kind of people, who probably would be able to survive, right? Anyway, someone's got to make that jump, and I'm kind of liking it to this, where, okay, if people who are able to, either willing to take the financial hit by saying no, or not going to Gen Con, or able to take the financial hit, then maybe it'll start. And I realize that my logical conclusion to this argument is that, a group of TTRPG retailers is somehow going to change the politics of America, which is not going to happen, right? But anyway, you all know what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see, and we'll report anything that comes up, because this is going to be convention season coming up, and we'll see. But something that I noticed that I thought you might like. So Citizen Sleeper, which is I think both PC and console game, kind of an indie video game. There's 2 of them now. I think the creator just made a sequel. He also made a solo TTRPG just recently. So Citizen Sleeper Spindlejack, a TTRPG based on Citizen Sleeper. So in honor of Citizen Sleeper Day, I'm not sure which date that was, a print-to-play TTRPG for a solo play was created. So Citizen Sleeper is a moody atmospheric tale of survival and strife out past the edge of corporate space. So some of the themes of the RPG are the commodification of the body, what life is like when you decide that your job isn't your purpose anymore. So the game itself, the video game itself, I always thought, like, playing it feels very TTRPG, because you're kind of, you're crawling on a map, and you have to do these things and find items and to progress, and so you're kind of doing
fetch quest.
You're kind of dungeon levels and stuff, and it's very you're clicking on locations, just kind of dealing with it. It's not like a 3D action, like running down the hall. It's got great art and very atmospheric, and you're kind of opening up this space station and like doing jobs for people, and it lets you into other places. So it did feel very pencil and paper. So free on itch.io, the creator, Gareth Damian Martin, has created Spindlejack. And so all you need is a handful of D6s, and you can survive aboard a ramshackled space station. So this game itself, Spindlejack, takes inspiration from more of Citizen Sleeper 2 with the character Cadet specifically. So you'll be playing an airbike courier, and you'll be doing a slew of things, mostly illicit deliveries and things for people to get to kind of build yourself up and kind of figure out who the hell you are. And on the far spindle in the starward belt, Spindlejacks are notorious, slicing across the station with custom airbikes, their courier messages, packages, and anything else too sensitive to be fed into the system's crumbling and haunted networks. That you're sharing a cavernous transit tunnel with hulking cargo haulers. They are also widely assumed that they have some sort of death wish, so like bicycle couriers in New York. But as one of their number, it's the rush, the competition, and the community that keeps you riding.
Interesting.
So
I had seen this. I hadn't realized it was actually put out by the person who created the video.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I think that's very cool. So print and play includes map files and everything you'll need to play the game yourself. I'm not sure, so it seems like I haven't done enough solo gaming. It seems like solo gaming has to kind of be journaling, right? Or I mean, I guess a character sheet can be enough of a record of what you're doing, just leveling and picking up things and stuff. But it seems like there should be some sort of note taking or some kind of logging.
Well, there can be. Right? I don't know all the different types of solo games, but journaling is one where the game generates some kind of prompt and then you write something about it, right? Or I'm thinking about Ironsworn, where Ironsworn, you actually did group play, where in that one they say you don't have to write a story if you want to, but it probably makes sense. I mean, you do have a character sheet and things to track in terms of communities you kind of name or people's kind of disposition to you, but you don't have to write journal entries. You could if you want. And then there's other ones that are more like a map, and you kind of move your little thing across the map and you discover what's there, and you may or may not adjust some stats or have to solve some problems, but you wouldn't necessarily, again, you could if you wanted to, but you wouldn't have to write a journal entry.
Yeah, right.
But it does, I think most of them, not most, some kind of way to record the state of the game does make sense. Yeah. Because otherwise it doesn't really feel like a game. It feels like all these separate little incidents that don't really connect to each other.
Right. Yeah, and since they specifically mentioned map files, I think similar to the video game, it probably is the map and, finding out where things are and where you're, things that happen at locations. You're probably writing names of locations and opening up a ship's or the space station map. So probably, the map is your...
I think I saw this on itch.io and I was going to pick it up. I think you actually use the dice to like on the map,
Yeah,
right?
nice.
To track things.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. So free print and play. So if you played Citizen Sleeper and liked those games, this would be a great. I mean, same art, same designer. Go for it.
Or if you didn't and are interested in solo games, because that's what you have time for.
Yeah, right. If you're a solo game player and not a video.
I thought you were going to say if you were a lonely player with no friends.
You lonely son of a. All right, but if you're not lonely, or if you're looking for I don't know,
all right,
friendship and camaraderie, there is an RPG party waiting for you. So GameFound and partners, and various partners. So they're partnering with, first of all, Drive Through RPG, to create a. What they're calling the RPG Party, an initiative aimed at supporting independent tabletop role-playing creators. So the program will be run in a partnership with GameFound, Drive-Thru, Magpie, Chaosium, and Loot Tavern. So they'll provide resources, mentorship, and marketing assistance. And for GameFound, that's pretty big, and for Drive-Thru, that's pretty big to be giving you that kind of promotion on those platforms, because they're pretty big. So small to medium-sized TTRPG creators with projects that have not been previously crowdfunded, which can include new game systems, settings, and adventures, can submit, and basically you'll be seeking this offer for a network to network with an industry expertise and a platform for creators to refine and showcase their work. So basically, right now there's an open call, and there'll be a kind of jury review of everything that's submitted, and the jury consists of GameFound, Drive-Thru, Magpie, Chaosium, and 20 projects will be selected, and they will receive support, including workshops with the veterans from these, probably the people that voted on your games, for project refinement and crowdfunding strategy, marketing booths on Drive-Thru, one-on-one consultations with Loot Tavern, assistance from GameFound for creating your review preview pages and things on their site, marketing support. You get some free AdFound credits between 100 to 500 based on your follower counts. And so what are the submission requirements if you want to get involved? Wondering. So a two-page spread is preferred, one piece of art and a full page of text. This is intended, that's kind of the minimum. This is intended for physical print, but they will, you can offer digital PDF rewards for the crowdfunding. It should be original tabletop RPG material, rule set settings, or adventures. And you are required to run the campaign on GameFound, and the final physical book should be at least 24 pages. Altogether, the submissions close on June the 2nd. They'll begin developing the preview pages after that for the selected projects. Everything will be going live by July, and will launch on GameFound, was scheduled to go live by July, and all projects will be slated to launch on GameFound by August. So this RPG Party is an initiative to kind of support smaller projects and kind of lift up people with an interesting
I wonder what
selection.
It says about me. Yeah. Because I saw this, right? I actually got an email about this. I clicked on the link, and my immediate reaction was, where am I turning over the rights to my stuff? Right? What does it say about me that my immediate reaction was, what's the hook? What's the catch? How much of the percent of the thing are you getting?
Yeah, but I think because it's GameFound and Drive-Thru, they already take a piece. So that's probably all that they want, and just to improve, because if they get you a hit, if this little bit of support gets your project to be a hit, you're going to keep supporting it. You're going to keep doing projects. You're going to keep releasing stuff on Drive-Thru. And taking away from Kickstarter.
And taking away from Kickstarter. That's what I was thinking. You're probably right. The thing they get is just more content on GameFound, right? Where if they're trying to go up against Kickstarter, just the more projects out there, the more people who are looking at it, the better. So why not do something like this?
Yeah, and GameFound is more specifically board game based. Like most of their big projects are board games, so I think they're wanting to kind of court indie and smaller tabletop creators, because they want to be the platform of choice. They're going to give you a bigger piece. Like their take is much smaller than Kickstarter's, and they want to support, specifically tabletop. So now not only board games, but now, RPGs. So, and there's, I'm sure all their terms and everything are available on their submission page. I'll put a link to that so you can see, see what's going on there. But 20 projects. If you've got something you've been kicking around, 20 projects. That's quite a bit that they're going to take a look at. And I wonder. So Magpie and Chaosium, I wonder if they're going to have a little bit of a bias, like, types of games and things. That'll be interesting.
Well, I mean, even if they're going to. I mean, everyone has a bias. So
Yeah, and this would, just the fact that you're actually talking to people from these companies is kind of good too. If you're trying to get into the industry, putting this project out there and then just getting some time to bullshit with these people and finding out,
I thought that too.
Mm-hmm.
But then one of the requirements is they're open call and they're selecting 20.
Mm-hmm.
The way I read that is, if you get selected, maybe not contractually obligated, but if you get selected, it is expected that you will run the GameFound.
Yes. Yeah.
Campaign.
Right. But that, but showing your talent to Chaosium or Magpie can't be a bad thing.
Oh, what you're saying, even if you're saying if you don't get selected.
Yeah, you don't get selected, or you're doing your project, but then they're like, hey, we're looking for somebody to kind of help us with this. So would you be interested? Networking is never a bad thing, and the fact that you're talking to people from the actual companies is.
I was assuming that you wouldn't actually kind of get your foot in the door to talk. It'd just be like, okay, slush pile. There you go.
But they'll be talking shop with you. They'll be talking marketing and
if you get selected.
If you get selected, you got some interesting access. And then once that project is done, who knows? Yes. All right. And lastly, this was inescapable. I think every social media,
multiple,
even like a shitty game app, like an idle game app on my phone popped up an ad for this. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
Liquid Steel, the comic and RPG. So Milsonian Arts Council is working with Eduardo Mazzatelli and Enrique Alcatina for doing their classic sci-fi fantasy comic series, both as a first appearance in English, freshly translated. So first release in the English market, and a setting for Troika. So it'll be a Troika Troika setting, and so you're getting 2 translations, a graphic novel and a campaign. And I like the art of this a lot. I think the artist worked with 2000 AD a bit, and some of the style of this reminded me of some of the Nemesis, the Warlock kind of stuff. This is much more psychedelic. So kind of like Nemesis the Warlock, if it was more psychedelic, like the Elric comics. Yeah. So translating the legendary Argentinian Liquid Steel for the first time in English, and also producing the tabletop. And I think that's nice because they'll have access to all of that art from the comics. So it's going to be a great looking book. All the classes or all the character types for Troika.
My immediate reaction was, if okay, sure, I'm sure there's a setting, implied or explicit otherwise. I'm like, comic book's got to have a story.
Yeah, right.
Which means it's kind of finished. So,
right.
Are you
further adventures?
Are you just playing this character? I'm sure you're not playing this character again, right? But you bring up the art. It's okay, the art was probably for a specific thing, and I'm sure they can have spot images and stuff like that, but it's not going to be and insert your character here, right?
Right. Yes, so they're producing a pair of A4 hardback books for this, getting the game setting and the kind of complete graphic novel of all the stories. First time in English, 288 pages of Liquid Steel for the hardback, and it will be A4 sewn binding, so extra durable.
Oh, so the RPG is 2 A5 hardbacks.
No, there's 2, so that both are A4 hardbacks. The RPG and then the graphic novel. Yeah,
gotcha.
novel.
2 A4.
Yeah, big. Yeah, they're big. Yeah, and it's good for comics too.
Yeah, no.
So Alcatina worked on Judge Dredd, Heavy Metal, Star Blazer, X-Men, Toxic Superman, and Batman. And Mazzatelli is known for writing Shakar, Windward, The Ziggurat, Imperator, and Journey Through the Labyrinth. So they're all going to be translated by a capable creator to get you a good, so somebody that's creative themselves, so get you a good translation. The art is being recreated from originals and supervised by the artist himself and published by Milsonian Art Council. So it's full of psychedelic myth and energy, and it really is great artwork. It's going to be, they're not going to do any colorization or anything, so it's going to be black and white. Both books are going to be black and white art, but it's gorgeous stuff. So the 11 Laws of the Realm. So this is basically kind of giving you a little bit of the setting. All things are alive, everything has a face. All stereotypes have died, and all recurring tropes are thwarted. Madness and absurdity are the true natural states of the world. Repetition is death. Dreams are real. Nightmares are real too. Realism and objectivity were obliterated by the weapons of mass destruction in the Fourth World War. The world is either a spinning coin on the horn of a great devil or an orb floating within an unfathomable void. All rules must be challenged at least once. Sensuality and violence rule over all courts. Mischief is the bane of kings and shall be rewarded. So there you are. There we have it.
Sounds weird.
Yes, it fits. I think if it's as a troika setting, I think it works. So, of course, if you don't know the troika system, it's wonderful and wonderful to play and simple to run. Kind of automated character creation. You kind of roll randomly and get this character type, and you can interpret it, however you want. Yeah, kind of. It's very generic. You can dive right into the game.
Sounds like some wishy-washy, hippy-dippy storytelling game to me.
Right. And the thing that they're trying to do with this setting specifically is you can dive right in with no prior knowledge of this comic or the setting or the system or anything to just play in the campaign. A few easy steps and you and your players will have a grasp of the world of Liquid Steel. So they're giving you 36 new backgrounds. Yeah, that's what they call them, backgrounds. Yep. For the characters, new spells, new enemies, and the lore, the law, the realm, and demons and necro-alchemists.
Doesn't matter what it's from. That word is now tainted.
The lore, yes. Yeah, so it's the samples on the crowdfunding page are great. You'll really, if you like any of that, kind of like 70s, 80s psychedelic, odd sci-fi stuff, this is really gonna be your jam. So the complete physical is 60 pounds UK. I only have the UK. Comic itself is 35. The tabletop RPG is 30 by itself, so you get a £5 discount if you get both, and you can get just the digital Liquid Steel comic for £15, or so the complete is £15 digital. Okay. So comic and game individually, the comic is £10 and the game is £10 for the PDFs. And and they're also doing a screen printed shirt, which is awesome, and a poster, which is even more awesome. So yeah, really, it's nice that celebrating this work and an effort to bring a legendary comic to the English world for the first time.
You know what I was thinking of? How we've talked about before about Dragonbane is sort of the English version of a Swedish game. I'm wondering if there is an Argentinian role-playing game, and if there was, because it's similar where like, here's this thing we've never had in English before that's finally being translated, but it's a comic, which is fine. But I'm wondering if someone already made a game, and wouldn't it be cool to have, that exists, to have that translated into English, because it would open up kind of this whole realm of what Argentina thinks a role-playing game is,
and especially of this time and everything. It might just be that rights and stuff, maybe the companies went under, and there's no, so that kind of stuff is always tricky. But they will be back soon. If this is successful, will be back soon. They have two more graphic novels, 2 more settings, Metal Earth and Train World, to kind of give the same sort of treatment to. Maybe just the graphic novels. I don't know if it's going to be a troika setting completely. But they're going to manufacture all their books in Europe, so hopefully get around any of that nonsense. And as far as they know, all the countries that they're dealing with, there's going to be 0 import tax on those books. Just the shipping. So they're trying to get around, kind of what's going on. I think Melsonian, has a probably good sense of that and enough experience. So it will take until September for everything to rev at the warehouse. So they'll begin shipping things after the campaign closes by October. And a wonderful thing that they put at the end of their page, AI generation is violence to culture and the environment. So this is a real person's actual artwork, and no AI has been used. I think that's a really good way to put it. But so that's going to do it for this week. So where can people find you?
On that ambulance that's going by.
Yes.
No, sorry. Blue Sky and Instagram and select Facebook groups that are mostly miniature related. Hivemind, HYVEMYND, where it's little people.
It's little people.
In various forms.
Little people, big wars.
Either my kid or miniatures. Little people. So how about you?
So next week I'm going to a monthly cartoon stream. So Abuse Cartoons, I'm going to draw my single panel gag cartoon live on stream for the month of May and probably beginning of June, as I've been doing. Eat some Japanese snacks from the convenience store. Been finding some good things lately, and I've just been buying. I used to try to theme stuff, and I'm just like, let's just get everything that looks good and just do several times during the stream. I need to keep that blood sugar up. So that's Abuse Cartoons on both YouTube and Twitch. And if you want to read the cartoon, it's gocomics.com/domesticabuse. But if you like what we're doing here with the weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
The strongest of all supporters.
You can do that at patreon.com/upturntable. So one of the tiers is supporting the weekly, and also there's many different tiers to kind of tell us what you're interested in on the channel and what you want to see us do more of.
The actual plays, the lowest. Just stop.
Here you go. I'll pay you off to shut up and go away. And yes, so we're Upturn Table on all social media, and we do live streams on YouTube and Twitch of the actual plays. We are not doing Fallout, I don't think. So we may try either the Space 1999 Quick Start or move ahead. We did character creation for Household last week.
Cool.
Which we didn't have Fallout again. But we'll get back to Fallout, hopefully before season 2 is finished of the streaming series on Amazon. But we've got a player with computer problems. We got a player with social commitments.
It's called being an adult.
Yes.
Sometimes it really sucks.
Yeah. So as the group grows online, it also the scheduling problems grow. So so we'll be doing that. So you'll see something on stream tomorrow. Maybe we'll see. Well, hopefully Space 1999. Maybe just me. I'll just wave at you guys for 3 hours. And so thanks for joining us. We'll be back again next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. Oh